House of Commons on my Media Prime. We are sorry for the late start. We are 10 minutes late, but we thank God we are back and that we are going to be able to discuss that which we planned for you this day. Two topics, asking the question whether the national dialogue that has been called by the President of the Republic is going to be a repeat of the tripartite conference that took place in the early 90s in Yaoundé. How do we overcome the trappings of the tripartite so that the national dialogue that has been called forth by the President is actually a great success so that the issues that are at stake are laid to rest? We equally are going to be finding out how far the lawyers are ready to go, asking the question whether the problem is with the lawyers in Cameroon for their consistency in strike actions or the Justice Ministry that is in charge of regulating that sector of our national life. We are discussing these two topics with our panelists who are already in the house. Mbakuju is a rights advocate and a journalist. He is in the house. Good day and welcome.
Hello to you, Leonard. I extend regards to the other panelists and, of course, to the viewers out there. We hope that's going to be a fun-filled Sunday.
Equally in the house with us is Alex Ngepi. Alex Ngepi is a member of the communication department of the CRM movement. Bonjour et bienvenue.
Merci, bonjour et je dis aussi bonjour à tous ceux qui sont présents et aux millions de téléspectateurs qui écoutent Prime TV. Donc on espère qu'on a un très bon débat et que nous allons pouvoir édifier à nouveau le peuple camerounais sur les positions du MRC.
Le MRC était à la primature cette semaine.
Bien sûr, nous avons été à la primature. Nous avons reçu par les médias, par les réseaux sociaux, WhatsApp et Facebook, que le MRC serait invité à la primature le mercredi à 11h. Nous n'avons même pas reçu une invitation formelle, parce que quand on invite un parti politique, on se doit de l'adresser un message comme il se doit dans les bonnes et toutes formes. Malheureusement, ce n'est pas le cas. Donc, en tant que parti républicain, nous y sommes rendus. Nous avons remis au Premier ministre de M. Biapol un mémorandum qui fixait les conditions dans lesquelles le MRC pouvait prendre part au dialogue national. Donc la balle est actuellement dans le camp du gouvernement. Nous attendons la réponse de ce mémorandum-là afin de voir comment est-ce que nous pourrons faire pour prendre part à ce dialogue, si jamais ils répondent.
C'est aussi votre Premier ministre, hein?
Il est d'abord le Premier ministre de M. Biapol parce que M. Biapol ne jouit d'aucune légitimité. Il est président légal mais pas légitime. Donc M. Biapol, c'est un régime autoritaire, c'est-à-dire qu'il prend son pouvoir d'elle-même. Donc ce régime autoritaire qui prend son pouvoir d'elle-même a nommé un Premier ministre qui est M. Djangouté. Donc il est légal parce que voilà, les institutions républicaines nées de ce régime-là l'a bien choisi comme Premier ministre, mais il n'est pas légitime. Donc il est d'abord le Premier ministre de M. Biapol avant d'être le Premier ministre du peuple camerounais.
Okay. Also in the program with us is Walang Abang. He is the director or CEO of the Mahatma Institute
Mahatma
of
African Leadership Center.
Okay.
Yes,
he
but
is
not
a political analyst. Good day and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Bean. It's always a pleasure. You know, this is my first time for being in the House of Commons, which is such an honor to me. I want to thank my co-panelists, you know, especially Mr. Ngepi that I'm seeing for the first time. I've been hearing about him. You know, I want to thank the crew out there who are doing a marvelous job. But especially I want to thank the many viewers. You know, I hear that there are many out there who are watching House of Commons already and they're appreciating it. I hope we are going to be able to live up to their expectation.
Equally with us is Jean-Claude Agbotem. He is of the Stand Up for Cameroon extraction in our nation. They have some points that they have tabled forward to they addressed a letter to the President of the Republic, but yesterday they made public some points that they want to feature in the dialogue table, if the dialogue at all is supposed to make some sense. Good day and welcome.
Good day, Leonard. Good day to my fellow panelists. Good day to fellow Cameroonians and especially televiewers of House of Commons. It is also a great pleasure to be here. This is my first time I've been hearing of this program. And I do hope that at the end of the day, we are going to live up to the standard of Cameroonians who are out there and need from time to time to be edified on issues that has to do with the development of our country. As you rightly said, we are so much involved in having a peaceful country, the peace that we dream of, and it is just our duty to play a major role that we have been playing.
Okay, we are kick-starting this program with you, Mbakujut. Where should focus be placed in this whole national dialogue forum?
I think we are at a crossroad where everyone has own opinion. It's good you're asking Mbakujut's opinion on this platform. And every Cameroonian out there has a voice on what form, what state, what situation you want on that dialogue table. That's why it's open for everybody. And we've been sending proposals. Personally, I've sent my proposals in the different platforms which I find myself in. Professionally, I've equally sent on a personal note on social media and all that. But where attention should be placed at this point, for me, I'm one of those who is campaigning too that we go back to where the mistakes started and see how we can correct from that point. And where did we have that mistake? We started having this mistake in 1961. And one of those who is clamoring that we could go back to 1961, and if we can have the 1961 Constitution of Cameroon, we have to implement the federal system of Cameroon. Except this fails at the level of the national dialogue, we can begin to articulate other issues. But for me, we have to go back. Whatever is being tabled at Dangote's table as proposals and all that, at the end of the day, if we don't go back to address this issue from that point of 1961, which I know that all Cameroonians are aware of, because it is not strange, we've been saying this has been existing for many, many years. And we have a catalog of these issues. Even the regime that is the regime, the government of Cameroon, that is saying that is still struggling to gather these points. They already know these things since the start of the Anglophone crisis. I'm sure that the dialogue will have to end back somewhere around going back to 1961. 1961 is recognizing that there were two entities that came together. These are historical things which we must keep emphasizing. I know that Cameroonians are hearing it every day, but we have to keep emphasizing. There were two entities that came together in 1961 to form this United Republic of Cameroon. That changed to the federal system, from the federal system to the United Republic, and of course just changing to the Republic of Cameroon. So if we go back to 1961 and identify all this, make Cameroon a state that belongs to the two entities that came together, the French Cameroon and the British Southern Cameroons, bring back the Constitution, the Federal Constitution of 1961, and start implementing from there. I'm sure the Anglophone part of the country now will see the reasons to release all their compatriots, or to give conditions for the release of all their compatriots.
So what you are saying is that the dialogue should focus on
going back to the roots, 1961.
On history. The history of the unification.
Yes, exactly. The historical aspect of reunification. We should focus on it. Go back to the federal system. Except we do not want this country to succeed. If we fail this federal system, simply we are saying that the country should not be one and individual. It should be separate.
Okay. Walang, Abang, you have seen what is happening. Where should that focus be? Are you going in the same vein with Mbakuju?
Yeah, well, I think that I can go in the same vein with him, but not as things. How do I put it? Things have evolved.
Yeah.
1961 was 1961. So now we're in 2019, getting to 2020.
Yeah.
It is very true that we should go to the root cause of the problem. And what is the problem? The problem started in 1961 when two entities came together, to form the Federal Republic of Cameroon. But there are other voices, there are other opinions that hold that we could get into a 10-state federation, not necessarily the two-state federation. There is one opinion that, that comes from somebody that I respect so much, so I want to quote it here, that of a confederation, that is by Dr. Nick Wayam. Those are opinions. He has given an elaborate explanation of, the benefits of a confederation. Since we're talking of two cultural values that are coexisting, it makes a lot of sense. So I think the Anglophone people of Cameroon, through, I'm even wondering why there is a national, dialogue when the AG, the Anglophone this thing, General Conference, has not even taken place, because people are going in these diverse ranks. People have not discussed to know what to put on the table of Prime Minister Zongute. And behold, I've read in certain forums, I'm sure you are even one of the people who made a critique of that, permit me to quote you, that many people are going there in their own interest. Many people have tabled demands that do not cater for the interests of the common man, not even the interest of the Anglophone in Cameroon, but in their own personal interest. Demands that will satisfy their personal greed, and in that way, it is not going to solve the Anglophone crisis. I think that another point that should be taken that should be taken note of is that this national dialogue may undermine the position of the Anglophone crisis, because we have delegates who are coming from the Grand North, that's the Adamawa, North region and the extreme north regions of Cameroon. We have delegates who are coming from the southern areas of Cameroon. We have delegates who are coming from all over. Perhaps, I'm afraid that a point should be made, and it should be really highlighted, that the Anglophone crisis is at the center of this national dialogue. The President of the Republic said it, although he denied the marginalization of Anglophones in Cameroon. But he said that the Anglophone crisis is going to be in the center of this dialogue. But I am afraid that the way it is moving, with many delegations or many interest parties getting involved, finally, the Anglophone crisis may not be given the intention or the attention that it deserves in this national dialogue.
Now, Monsieur Alex Ngepi, du MRC, vous avez été reçu cette semaine par le Premier ministre. Vous avez dit OK, les conditions, il faut qu'on relâche le professeur Maurice Kamto avant que vous allez participer dans ce dialogue. Mais d'après ce que vous avez vu, les gens sont partis, vous-même vous êtes allé, vous avez l'impression que c'est du sérieux?
D'abord, je tiens à rectifier quelque chose. Ce n'est pas qu'il faille qu'on relâche le professeur Maurice Kamto pour qu'on participe au dialogue. Non.
Okay.
Ce n'est pas juste cela. Nous avons remis un mémorandum. Le mémorandum, il y a plusieurs points qui ont été évoqués. Oui. Le MRC, avec certains partis d'opposition, SDF et consorts, sont les premiers partis qui ont toujours demandé un dialogue inclusif. Oui. Nous avons toujours demandé un dialogue depuis fort longtemps. Mais on a affaire à un pouvoir qui copie mal, qui triche mal. Ils avaient triché déjà la DDR au MRC, et ils n'ont pas su l'implémenter. Le dialogue que nous avons demandé, un dialogue inclusif, ils n'ont pas su le faire. Nous avons tout dit au MRC. Pour qu'il y ait un dialogue au Cameroun, il faut qu'il soit inclusif. Et pour que ce dialogue soit inclusif, il faudrait relâcher toutes les personnes arrêtées dans le cadre de la crise du Nozo. C'était l'une des premières choses que nous avons dit. Donc, Ayoub Tabé, évidemment. On ne peut pas être là, et Ayoub Tabé, il est en prison, il est le leader de cette zone, et vous dialoguez sans qu'il ne soit libre. Donc nous avons tout demandé qu'on relâche toutes ces personnes, nous avons tout demandé qu'on relâche les prisonniers politiques. Il n'y a pas que les prisonniers nés du hold-up électoral, non. Il y a des personnes qui ont été arrêtées pour des raisons politiques bien avant l'ordre électoral qui doivent être relâchés. Quand on demande un dialogue inclusif, c'est que le peuple camerounais, on doit se parler entre nous. Ça, tu es absolument du MRC. Donc, relâcher des personnes arrêtées n'est pas que la personne du professeur Maurice Kamto, le président élu, mais ce sont tous ces prisonniers politiques, toutes ces personnes qui ont été arrêtées dans le cadre du NOZO. Il y a encore les avocats qui croupissent encore en prison parce qu'ils auraient manifesté, ce qui est intolérable dans un État supposé être de droit. Donc, ce sont des choses qu'il faut rectifier, ne pas faire croire à l'opinion nationale et internationale que le MRC ne demande que la libération du président élu, le professeur Maurice Kamto. Non, le MRC demande la libération de tous ceux-là qui ont pris part, de toutes ces personnes arrêtées dans le cadre de la crise du NOZO et de tous les prisonniers politiques camerounais. Cela fait partie en outre des conditions fixées par le MRC. Maintenant, je voudrais dire que nous avons remis un mémorandum au gouvernement. Nous attendons leur réponse. Il faudrait que le gouvernement, par sa bonne foi, elle devrait répondre aux partis politiques, notamment au MRC, sur la possible participation du MRC à ce dialogue-là. Donc, c'est le gouvernement qui va décider avec qui dialoguer, selon les réponses qu'ils vont apporter au mémorandum qui les ont été soumis.
Ma question était que, d'après ce qui se passe là, vous trouvez que ça, c'est du sérieux?
Non, déjà, si c'était du sérieux, donc par un mémorandum. Déjà okay. Que nous savons que c'est pas qu'il y a un problème qui se passe, c'est que c'est pas du sérieux. Vous savez, je voudrais un peu aller un peu dans l'histoire, si vous me le permettez. Je voudrais dire quelque chose. Hein. Le Cameroun qui a été placé sous le Cameroun en 1920, en 1902, avait 750 000 km². Le Grand Cameroun avec K, à l'époque allemand. Le Cameroun, en 1946, a été placé sous tutoriel des Nations Unies et il était prévu que le Cameroun occidental, qui était le Northern et le Southern Cameroun, et le Cameroun oriental, que chacun puisse être administré par la puissance anglaise pour le cas du Northern et Southern Cameroun, enfin, et par la puissance française pour le cas du Cameroun oriental, afin que ces populations puissent avoir la pleine autonomie et aboutissent à l'indépendance. C'est ce qui avait été prévu. Et en 1954, la partie du Northern et Southern Cameroun ils ont eu un protocole avec le Nigeria dans lequel l'administration était plus ou moins autonome. C'est-à-dire que ces régions du nord et du centre du Cameroun étaient administrées de manière plus ou moins autonome. Okay. Contrairement, non, j'arrive si vous me permettez. Permettez-moi d'aller. Pourquoi je le dis, j'insiste dessus. Contrairement à la partie francophone qui n'était pas. Et donc, il y a eu déjà un premier dialogue au Cameroun en 1956. Peut-être qu'on ne le savent pas. En 1956, dans le Cameroun oriental. Ce dialogue-là permettait de préparer les élections de l'Assemblée nationale qui devait être élue en 1957, dont André Marin Bita avait été convié. Et il y a eu un second dialogue en 1971, dans la conférence de Fumban, dont il y avait les partis anglophones et les partis francophones, avec John Kufonda qui conduisait une forte délégation avec le KNDP, Cameroun National Democratic Party. Nous voulions dire que il y a eu tellement d'erreurs. Lors de ce dialogue-là, il y a des partis politiques qui n'ont pas été conviés, comme l'UPC. L'UPC qui avait une assise au Cameroun oriental et au Cameroun occidental n'a pas été convié à ce dialogue-là. Et nous savons qu'au sortir de ce dialogue-là, il y a eu un État fédéral qui a été institué, mais qui a été biaisé déjà par le président Idjo, parce que ça a été un État fédéral déconcentré. Parce que au sortir de ce dialogue-là, de la conférence de Fumban, le 1er octobre, les deux Camerouns se réunissent par un référendum. Maintenant, le 20 octobre, 20 jours plus tard, M. Amadou Idjo crée des régions fédérales. C'est-à-dire qu'il divise le Cameroun en 6 régions. Vous comprenez un peu? Ça a déjà été les premières erreurs, malgré qu'on était dans le fédéralisme. Le 20 octobre 1961, le Cameroun a été divisé en 6 régions. Et en 1963, M. Amadou Idjo a créé des inspections fédérales. Et John Goufoncha, à l'époque, avait écrit. John Goufoncha était le président du Cameroun oriental. Oui, non, j'arrive, je viens, s'il vous plaît, permettez-moi. On n'a pas tout ce temps. Si vous me donnez 3 minutes, je vais chuter. 3 minutes 2 minutes, si vous me permettez. John Goufoncha a été le président du Cameroun occidental. Et John Goufoncha avait écrit au président Idjo pour dire, vous ne pouvez pas créer des inspections fédérales dont un inspecteur fédéral est nommé par vous et qui est au-dessus de moi, Premier ministre du Cameroun occidental et vice-président du Cameroun. fédéral. Donc, ces erreurs-là ont été commises et les anglophones dans cette partie ont il y a eu une sorte manifeste d'assimilation des cultures anglophones par les cultures francophones. Parce qu'au Cameroun occidental, ce que les gens ne savent pas, c'est que là-bas, c'était la police qui menait l'ordre. Les anglophones n'étaient pas habitués à voir les gendarmes. À partir du moment où M. Amadou Ahidjo a envoyé les gendarmes au Cameroun occidental, les gendarmes entraient dans les buvettes, ils buvaient avec tenues. Ce n'était pas une culture anglophone. Donc il faudrait que les Camerounais comprennent que quand on parle du dialogue national inclusif aujourd'hui, c'est qu'il faille que les gens prennent en compte la particularité culturelle anglo-saxonne. Il ne faudrait pas que les gens regardent seulement la particularité culturelle germano-romaine qui représente la partie française.
Il faut
Donc,
parle aussi,
il est important que ce dialogue-là puisse se faire avec les partis anglophones, avec les partis francophones, et qu'au sortir de là, on trouve un consensus pour le devenir du peuple camerounais et du Cameroun en général.
Okay, Mr. Botem, you have seen those invited or who have invited themselves to the Star Building in Yaoundé. They have given interviews. You've listened to people like Gaga Haman Aji, we've listened to Cabral Libi, and a host of others. Do you see all of them as those who are supposedly represent the key interests of the people? Or some are left out?
Not at all. Mr. Leonard, let's be very sincere. I think that you know the position of Stand Up for Cameroon.
Yes.
From the outbreak of this crisis. We have always seen the bad fate of the Biya regime in everything. And so far, it has not just been our declaration, but the result speaks for itself. You know, we know what it takes to succeed. And when you don't do that, you'll never succeed. I think from the president's speech already, to us, we saw a lot of bad faith. The bad faith in the sense that I think 2 days immediately after the resolution, the declaration of the president, the prime minister started consultation. This consultation was a complete expression of bad faith because we expected this man, when he went down to Northwest and Southwest, to come back and tell Cameroonians, this is what I have noticed, this is what I have gathered from the field, and this is how we are going to move on. Not only that these consultations were being carried out, we also saw in the actors, those who have very little say as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned. And then you ask yourself, how are we going to solve this crisis? We would have expected some actions to be carried out towards these armed guys who are in the bushes from the top. Because mind you, it is true, you will tell me that the DOs and the governors,
SDOs,
the SDOs have been carrying out some activities, but nobody would trust them. If actions were carried out from up, because we should be now at the level of the facilitation of the dialogue, because Chief Dion Guti cannot tell us he's not aware of the Anglophone crisis. What is much more important for us now is not consultation, but facilitation. Because mind you, Mr. Leonard, let's be sincere. It is not easy to bring everybody on that table with just a declaration.
So what should be happening now is consultations. Consultations, according to you, are supposed to have been done?
Yes, consultations have been done. He went to Southern Cameroon and met people. He spoke with people. He gave guarantees saying there was going to be dialogue. He met the same delegation of SDF he's meeting now. He met them in Bamenda. He met other political leaders, etc. Now, what he would have been doing now was to carry out actions that can facilitate this dialogue by, first of all, defining who participates in this dialogue. And just like he said, the Prime Minister would have given a complete support to the Anglophone General Conference. Because mind you, it is true they design it to say it's a national dialogue so that we can to hide the Anglophone problem. But let's be very sincere. This is an Anglophone issue. And His Eminence Christian Cardinal Tumi came out with this all Anglophone General Conference. An opportunity for Anglophones to sit and talk. And the government cannot support that. That would have been 60% solution of the Anglophone crisis. Trust me. And the fact that this Anglophone General Conference is not going to hold, it would have been a facilitative measure of this dialogue. It would have, in fact, it would have been, that is what I would have expected. I expected the Prime Minister to give his 100 support and even push this action. Because, first of all, as Anglophones, we need, you know, the Anglophone man is a grassroots person. We need to talk from very level. Now, even from the bushes, we need to talk. We'll talk from the bushes and then bring it outside. Now, you are not doing that, and you think it's going to work. It's not going to work. That is why we, of Stand Up for Cameroon, we addressed this letter. We are not against dialogue, but we want the regime to take measures that can ensure a fruitful dialogue, and which we think that those measures have to start from the grassroots, which is difficult. Releasing those who are arrested or inviting people for consultation to give them transport money day and night, or making people parade the Prime Ministry office showing the world that you are doing something, when there are people in prisons at every level, not only in Yaoundé, in the north and southwest regions, you have people in prisons. Those are the actions that would have facilitated this dialogue, and which we think that it is not late, because from his consultation, I have been following all the parties that have gone there, starting from SDF, the CROM, etc. They have given him an orientation, and everybody is unanimous. There is need for facilitation of dialogue. And for there to be facilitation of dialogue, there are some actions that should be taken. Not just inviting people to come and sit on nice dressed chairs and make expressions. You think everybody will come on that dialogue table? No. There should be those actions that can, first of all, create a trust among those who are in the bushes. Because it's not easy. I heard the DO, I did not follow the information, just saying people, they can come. Anyway, I read the declaration of the FACO chiefs who were saying that these guys are ready to participate through phone calls, etc., etc. You see, we come back to consultation. It's good, but it has very
little
to play.
we see some ingredients in the local authorities, because it seems as if that was where we are supposed to have started, because the SDO for Meme makes an attempt to get these guys, and then we get the traditional authorities of FACO who say they are in contact with the guys, who say we are willing to even engage, but let us start from somewhere.
It's true, Leonard, and it's
something we must commend truly, that at least local authorities are seeing the need to take the right course. But is it actually right? Is it, you might want to do the right thing, but do you have what it takes to do the right thing? Do the local administrative authorities have what it is to call out those boys from the bushes? I think it's just a show of a show of attempt, which is still difficult. Like Mr. Aborem was saying, Abotem was saying, I think we are at the level where we have to, it's not like we are underlooking the local administrative authorities, but the higher authorities have to really, because those who call the shots are the people. For me now, I look at these consultative talks as a pre-process. We are yet to get to the crux. And the crux of the whole issue will be to invite the real stakeholder, the main protagonist, the separatists themselves. I think we are still marching to that extent. We are still somewhere. It's true that, like, you know, Stand Up has done a lot of work on that, giving the step-by-step procedure. I read their documents. I equally read another one by a coalition of this. I mean, everybody, even what Cardinal Tumi is submitting, 400-page document, all these things. If Prime Minister John Gute were to open a library, I mean, the documents just for this consultative talk will have something. So they should go back to the local administrative authorities. Their hands are tied. They don't have the mandate. They don't have the power to take those guns. They might just be doing it out of a show of good faith because they really need to stay too fine in those areas. But the people who call the shots, the regime in Yaoundé, the separatist fighters in the diaspora, these are the people who have the knife and the yam. And so it's like an SEO or a GEO who feels that something should go well will say that, okay, we follow that. We heard that four generals of the Amba were invited to come to Kumba for the pre-dialogue yesterday. But how many, did they actually come? Was it just to talk so that people feel that something is going on? Instead, we have seen resistance. We've heard that in Nekona yesterday, people were being killed. We've heard that in Akum. Tankers were being burned, upstation Bamenda, fighting separatist fighters. So instead, we are aggravating situations when we don't take the right channel. So administrative authorities, local ones, they need to put pressure. They should rather put pressure on the regime, on their government, on their higher authorities to do the right thing. And we keep insisting that the right thing is not by contacting inconsequential people. Everybody has a voice, true, but on this issue, we know exactly who we need. John Gute, I'm sure when the crisis started, he was in the diaspora, South Africa, to do these consultations. They sent some other people elsewhere in Europe to do these things. And we were hoping that when they must have come back from those consultative talks, we were going to have something good on the table. They avoided it. Until now, they are sending another delegation to Canada, Europe, America, France. What is happening in France that you are sending a delegation there? These guys truly sometimes I think that make us say the regime is not serious. Because what they are doing, they are playing with time and causing more death. As we speak, in Akwaya, people are dying. The chief of Akwaya was here last weekend. He lamented when Jean-Jacques Ikindi held his own consultative conference at Akwaya there. He lamented that his people are dying every second. The man cried, a chief, a big chief, a paramount chief. The man cried with tears in his eyes. I mean, that his people are dying and people are here talking about dialogue. That they should just go back. All of us know where the crisis is coming from. Nobody here can pretend. Pobia knows where this thing is coming from. He is the one who was even commissioned, mandated by Ijo to look into this crisis. John Gute was, I'm sure John Gute was one of those who held the fight for the Banjul case against the NCNC. They know how these things are. So what is difficult for us to take this catalog of issues, the historical issues, the constitutional issues of this country, and then just put on the table, call on the separatists. You people have a problem. Okay. What do you want us to do? We can easily resolve it.
Okay, we all definitely believe the government is trying to play over our intelligence, but let the regime know that we are in the 21st century and nobody will fall for the swindling strategy. These are the key things the government should do in order to have a new Cameroon. Release Mancho BBC. Don't call, please. Release Mancho BBC. Release Ayuk Tabe. All leaders should be released. Mr. Bia should, okay. Nothing else than that. I bet with you guys in the studio, dialogue will be fake. Ngwe Desmond is writing from Yaoundé. This calls. Please, you, in the context in which we find ourselves, we know that Cameroon is going through a serious Anglophone crisis. We have what we call the post-electoral crisis with Professor Maurice Kamto. Are these the two key issues that should feature prominent in the dialogue table?
Well, as my co-panelists have said, you know, I'm forced to rethink. I'm really forced to rethink. You know, I just got me thinking here a few moments ago that the issues that led to this crisis were, you know, political declaration, decrees. In 1972, the
was a referendum.
in 1972, there was a so-called referendum. But, you know, we know that Ahidjo held this country, you know, very high-handedly. And he single-handedly, you know, imposed that referendum and brought about the eradication or the erasing of federalism. In 1984, the current president of Cameroon, His Excellency Mr. Paul Biya, he decreed a Republic of Cameroon. You understand?
Away from the United.
Away from the United, you know. So gradually, these are individuals who use the institution, or, you know, of the presidency of the Republic to do away with institutions that were so powerful that the Constitution was protecting. Okay, I think Mr. Mbako just said something there that, you know, I buy into so seriously. I think that the national dialogue should address other issues. It can take a political decision first to wrong the rights of the past. Go back to the era of 1961 and declare Cameroon, or go to Parliament and get Parliament to vote a new constitution where Cameroon is a federal republic of Cameroon, so that we start from there and start making things better. Because I think that on the dialogue table, the president was very clear that we are going to sit and dialogue in the framework of the constitution, which says Cameroon is a decentralized, one and indivisible republic. I think that the Anglophones are not going to buy into that. And if the Anglophones don't buy into that, then the Anglophone crisis will keep, you know, worsening. Like the chief, if a chief cries, it means that it is really a terrible issue. And the chief himself declared, you know, from through the voice of Mr. Mbako that we hear here, that he declared that we all know where this problem began. So let us go back there and correct the wrong that was committed at that particular moment. We should not, you know, dialogue should be there. Cameroonians need to dialogue on all issues. You know, the level, standard of living, unemployment, and other issues, corruption, embezzlement, everything that is rocking this country and killing it. But the Anglophone crisis should be solved with a political decision. The dialogue should be, you know, to talk about reconciliation. Reconciliation, you know, Truth and Reconciliation Committee. Those who have wronged us in all the, how do I put it, in all the camps, those who have wronged Cameroonians should come and apologize to the Cameroonian people, because Cameroonian people have been wronged. So many people, innocent people, have died who did not participate directly in this crisis. And the people who have done that should come and apologize to the Cameroonian people through the reconciliation and dialogue or whatever. But the Anglophone crisis should be solved by a political act. And I think that that is where it's going to solve the problem.
Okay, you want a political action and not necessarily through the dialogue that we are talking about?
Dialogue. Never. It will not come through dialogue.
People need to sit at table.
People sit at table, they will talk about issues, but, you know, from the tripartite in 1991, resolutions were taken that have not been implemented till today. Even the resolutions, even the voting of or the implementation of a new constitution has been violated in 2008, where they limited the terms of the presidency. You know, so we see that when it's in the interest of some people, they violate it, or they respect it when it's in their interest. But when it's in the interest of the general population of Cameroon, it is not implemented. Where is Article 66? Till today, it's not implemented. So the constitution itself is powerless. But when it is in their own interest, that's when they respect it, and they quote it every day that this is enshrined in the constitution of Cameroon. It is wrong.
Ok. Now, Monsieur Alex, je reste avec vous, que vous avez mis votre doléance à mémo chez le Premier ministre. On a vu le Christian Kadnatoumi qui a remis un document de 400 pages, et puis peut-être Cabral Lébi, Serge Espoir Matomba, tout le monde a remis les mémos et ce qu'ils entendent. Ça commence le 30. Et tout ça, le Premier ministre est en train d'amener. Est-ce qu'on a le temps d'étudier tout ça et puis pouvoir mettre en œuvre ce que tout le monde a proposé?
Non, je ne pense pas qu'il y aura assez de temps. C'est pour ça que nous disons que quand vous voyez l'idée de l'opposition, vous devez au moins savoir comment l'implémenter. Quand les partis de l'opposition demandaient un dialogue inclusif, ils avaient mis le préalable, ils savaient comment l'implémenter. Vous venez demain, vous prenez cette idée-là, et vous l'implémentez mal. C'est comme un peu la DDR, des amendes, des mobilisations et réinsertion qu'ils ont volé à l'opposition. Ils n'arrivent pas à implémenter. Ils ont mis sur pied la DDR sans avoir négocié un cessez-le-feu, sans avoir rien négocié. Et aujourd'hui, ça ne donne rien. Donc voilà, on a juste un gouvernement qui est incompétent, qui ne sait pas ce qu'elle fait, qui est déjà, voilà, on dit toujours que le poisson pourrit par la tête. Donc quand vous avez des personnes de 90 ans au pouvoir, vous en avez quoi? Vous croyez qu'ils ont encore la capacité réelle de réfléchir comme nous, qui avons la cinquantaine, la quarantaine, la trentaine, la soixantaine? Non, pas du tout. Donc c'est un peu ça. Je voudrais revenir quand même sur quelque chose qui est important parce qu'il est question de toujours, nous sommes au dialogue, de parler de l'histoire du Cameroun, de rappeler l'histoire du Cameroun. C'est important de s'atteler un peu dessus sur l'histoire. Je voudrais dire que la toute première élection camerounaise a été lieu en 1957 pour le côté francophone et le tout premier référendum a eu lieu en 1959, chose que beaucoup de personnes ignorent. C'est-à-dire au Nord-Est, au Southern Cameroun, il y a eu un référendum qu'on a demandé de s'attacher au Nigeria. Le Nord-Est, au Southern Cameroun ont refusé en 1959. Et quand il y a eu le fameux référendum de 1961, 1er octobre, après l'assise de Fumban, qui avait duré, je crois, 5 jours, où M. Amadou Ahidjo était venu avec une constitution de la République fédérale écrite par les Français et qu'il a imposé, il a remis à John Goufoncha, il a donné à la délégation anglophone 3 jours pour se prononcer sur cette constitution. Et John Goufoncha a même eu des problèmes dans son camp, où les gens ont dit, il paraît que tu as eu de la résolution, parce que les anglophones sont réunis d'abord avant à Bamenda, avant de se retrouver à Fumban. Et ils sont venus, ils ont été en Angleterre, ils ont eu de très bonnes formations sur la Constitution, ils sont venus parce qu'ils ont fait confiance à la partie anglophone, francophone qui était Amadou Ahidjo. D'abord, Amadou Ahidjo n'a pas invité l'UPC, qui avait une idéologie du Cameroun. Ça aurait permis de vraiment implémenter les résolutions de Fumban. Il n'a pas fait. Et quand il y a eu le référendum de 61, ce qu'ils ne savent pas, c'est qu'au Northern Cameroun, ça a été même un référendum presque manipulé entre les Français et les Anglais. Parce qu'au Northern Cameroun, on dit, vouliez-vous vous rattacher au Cameroun ou au Nigeria? 90 000 personnes au Northern choisissent au Nigeria. 25 000 personnes choisissent au Cameroun pour se rattacher. Du coup, le Northern Cameroun se rattache au Nigeria. Au Southern Cameroun, qui était, donc les chefs étaient Bamenda et Buea, cette zone-là, sud-est et nord-ouest, on leur demande, vouliez-vous rattacher au Cameroun ou bien au Nigeria? 145 000 personnes ont choisi le Cameroun et 95 000 personnes ont choisi le Nigeria. D'où le Southern Cameroun s'est rattaché au Nigeria. Mais ce qu'on ne dit pas aux Camerounais, vous comprenez? Je dis bien, quand on parle d'indépendance, on a cette biculture. La culture anglo-saxonne, la culture germano-romaine, qui est la culture francophone. Alors, Amadou Ahidjo a fait de graves erreurs. Il a cru que le fait que le Cameroun avait 3 millions d'habitants à l'indépendance, 3 millions et demi, 4 millions d'habitants, et que la capitale anglophone pouvait reprendre à peu près 800 000 à 1 million d'habitants, alors il s'est dit, comme les francophones sont nombreux, donc ils ont la culture majoritaire, mais on ne quantifie pas une culture. Une culture est tout ce qu'on ne peut quantifier. Alors déjà, il a commencé par minimiser le pouvoir de John Goufoncha, d'État fédéral, en créant des exceptions fédérales en 1963, en envoyant les gendarmes là-bas. Les anglophones conduisaient à gauche, on a pensé à les faire conduire à droite. Il y avait l'Assemblée des chefs, qui a été dissous en 60... Oui. Non, j'arrive. Non, c'est non.
On parle du dialogue.
Non, il faut que les gens prennent cela en compte pour dialoguer. Vous n'irez pas dialoguer si vous ne reconnaissez pas les erreurs qui ont été commises. Que même l'État fédéral, tel qu'il a été pensé, a été un État fédéral déconcentré. Parce que les anglophones voulaient un État fédéral purement, réellement fédéral, dans lequel chaque État devait garder ses spécificités et la réunification devait se faire au sommet de l'État. Donc, Amadou Ahidjo avait une constitution dans laquelle il a pu te privilégier la partie. Non, j'arrive, s'il vous plaît, j'arrive. Parce qu'il y a des frustrations qui sont nées du côté anglophone. Oui. Pourquoi? Le système éducatif anglophone, il y a l'assimilation, c'est-à-dire que les professeurs francophones mal formés, qui ne parlent pas bien anglais, ont été envoyés dans la partie anglophone. Vous vous rappelez de cette grève des élèves étudiants anglophones en 1982-83, lorsque il y a un ministre de l'Éducation qui a voulu créer un système unique entre les francophones et les anglophones, parce que les francophones sont levés, ils ont dit non, on ne veut pas ça, que cela n'a pas eu lieu. Ce sont des faits que l'on doit connaître et savoir. Lorsque vous avez par exemple l'Odyssey All-Over anglophone, qui était à l'époque coordonné par l'Université de Londres, les copies venaient de l'Université de Londres, mais en 1990, parce que l'État du Cameroun ne payait pas les factures de Londres, ce d'ici-là, ils se sont retirés et ce sont les francophones qui ont commencé à gérer et les anglophones sont pleins parce que les copies venaient avec des erreurs. Donc il a fallu qu'il y ait une notion des parents d'élèves qui a créé une organisation pour... Donc ce sont des choses que on doit le dire et il faut qu'on comprenne que cette partie du Cameroun a longtemps souffert de cette marginalisation parce que avant l'indépendance, c'est la livre sterling qui circulait à Bamenda et à Boya. Mais du jour au lendemain, 62-63, Aïdjo a pris le franc CFA et l'a imposé sans tenir compte du caractère fédéral de l'État. Donc, pour chuter, je voudrais dire que il faudrait que ce dialogue-là, que les Camerounais se parlent entre eux, qu'on laisse les anglophones s'exprimer réellement, qu'ils disent des choses qui les frustrent, et qu'on le voit. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, à ce qu'on a comme info, sur 100 personnes invitées à cette table-là, vous avez 83 francophones, 17 anglophones. Qu'est-ce que 83 francophones vont dire sur les problèmes anglophones? Non, qu'on arrête un moment, ça peut. Qu'est-ce que 83 francophones vont dire sur les problèmes anglophones si eux-mêmes ils refusent de reconnaître l'histoire de ce pays? Et l'histoire de ce pays, c'est de comprendre les frustrations de ce peuple. Parce que tant qu'on ne va pas comprendre les frustrations du peuple anglophone, et que nous, francophones, dans notre position, et croire que parce que nous sommes francophones, c'est nous qui disons ce qu'il faut faire, ça ne marchera pas. Quand on est dans un État comme dans l'État, il faudrait qu'on tienne compte de tous les avis. Et c'est ce qui a manqué à cela. Par exemple, le phénomène de 72, pour chuter, s'il vous plaît, vous votez, non, c'est vraiment important. Pour chuter, en 72, le bulletin c'est oui ou yes. Il n'y a pas de non ou non. Vous avez le score que ça a eu ce référendum? 99,99%. Même Staline n'aurait pas fait mieux. Comment on peut comprendre que ce peuple frustré même d'Aboya ait pu voter à 99%? Donc c'est pour dire qu'il y a des choses qui doivent changer. Il y a des pratiques qu'on doit arrêter de faire. Il faudrait que les gens comprennent que certaines choses ne marchent pas. Et l'article même, je crois 37 ou 47 avait été violé. Est-ce qu'Aïdjo avait consulté John Goufoncha? Est-ce qu'Aïdjo avait consulté l'Assemblée occidentale telle que la Constitution le prévoit? Non, on est quitté du jour au lendemain. On a l'État fédéral déjà déconcentré, mal pensé, sans tenir compte des avis anglophones. On est tombé dans l'État unitaire. Et en 84, M. Biapol, il prend un décret où il convoque l'Assemblée, on tombe à la République du Cameroun. Il y a Don Dunké. Don Dunké, c'est un très grand avocat anglophone.
Vous avez chuté déjà?
En 85, il a écrit, il a fait un mémorandum.
Il faut que M. Agboté, on va revenir.
Mais Don Dunké, juste le Don Dunké, il a fait un mémorandum, il a écrit à M. Biapol en 85.
C'est fini, non?
En 85, oui, j'arrive. En 85, il a écrit à M. Biapol. M. Don Dunké a dit à M. Biapol, c'est juste pour dire ce qu'il a dit. Il a dit, M. Biapol, vous êtes passible de trahison, autre trahison contre l'État du Cameroun, car en modifiant la Constitution, en passant de la plus unitaire à la plus fédérale, à la plus du Cameroun, qui est le nom que le Cameroun avait en 1960 à l'indépendance. Vous avez donné par là l'indépendance aux anglophones. Vous savez ce qu'a fait M. Don Dunké? On l'a pris, on l'a mis en prison sans jugement. Aujourd'hui, c'est trop fou. On ne sait pas.
Merci beaucoup. We want Cameroonians under dialogue. No foreigners, please. So if you are a detainee and you are a foreigner and a terrorist, I'm sorry, you can't take part at the national dialogue. It's for nationals. Mr. Valentine Jr. is writing. Thank you, Mr. Valentine. Good evening to you at the studio. To me, I think the national dialogue will not remedy the Anglophone crisis since it has clauses already. The president is stereotyped with his one and indivisible Cameroon. Therefore, the terms of the dialogue will not meet the aspirations of freedom fighters. Epie Jasmine, writing from Yaoundé. Now, Mr. Agbotem, he has spoken so long, Je vais chuter, j'arrive. Now, before the constitutional conference in the early 90s or the tripartite, we had what was called the AAC 1 and 2, where Anglophones gathered themselves, prepared themselves to go negotiate or make their voices heard. We've not had this. This time around, we hear that regions are supposed to come, the Northwest region is supposed to come to the dialogue as the Northwest region, the Southwest as the Southwest region, littoral. And is this a better approach to solving the problem?
Well, Mr. Leonard, it's a funny question, but the question has its answer in the design of the dialogue itself. I think that we're just talking behind with my fellow panelists.
Yes.
That the Biya regime doesn't want to solve the Anglophone crisis. They are just pretending. And I think the brother too, on the other side, made the same declaration. You see, what triggered the Anglophone crisis is the marginalization of Anglophones. And in the Anglophone crisis, there are two factors. The first is the Constitution. In the Anglophone crisis in itself, exposed the lapses of the Constitution of the Cameroon. The Anglophone crisis in itself exposes the bad faith of the regime, starting from Ahidjo to Paul Biya. The Anglophone crisis in itself exposes the, I don't know how to call it, if it is an electoral cult, the bad orientation of the electoral code, which is highly designed to maintain the Biya regime in power. Because mind you, the Anglophone marginalization is because of the way the Constitution was not respected. The Anglophone crisis in itself is the way those who have been given posts of responsibilities have mishandled these posts of responsibilities. We all know that if there was a pure and clear electoral system in Cameroon, Mr. Biya would not still be there. And probably we would not have been where we are today. We all know that if there was a clear electoral system in Cameroon, we would not have been having the problems we are having today in Cameroon. And if today we think that we are going, because we are going to make it a national dialogue, just like he said, we are going to have 80 representatives of the Francophone Cameroon and 20 representatives of the Anglophone Cameroon, and we are going to talk and vote, and we'll come there and think that there are resolutions, we are wasting our time. On this, before we solve this Anglophone crisis, Anglophones must first of all sit and talk. And the government has to facilitate that. We must sit and review the Constitution of 1961, just like he said. Probably there may be some lapses.
Many things have changed, yeah?
Many things have changed. But you know, history is part of us. You can't deny your history. If you deny your history, you deny yourself. We all come from somewhere. And we know how our history directs our present and our future. We always go back there. And if we deny that, now, looking at, when we talk about regional representative, what are those regional representatives going to come and solve? We want to solve the Anglophone problem. And we know that the Anglophone problem is where it is today because some people, out of their anger and grievances, have decided to take up arms as their own way of fighting, expressing themselves. That is where we start. We should look at how we can calm these guys and bring them on the dialogue table. Like I said earlier, not just making some folkloric actions that are not going to lead us to anywhere. We must understand that for there to be a problem is because there is anger in people. And when someone is angry to the point of taking up arms, don't think that you can just make a declaration and that person will just drop those arms. You're wasting our time. I think that all this thing is a waste of resources. That is why we are much more focused. You see, the most unfortunate thing is that, just like he said, the regime that refused dialogue from the beginning. I remember when President Biya came from, was it from Ivory Coast, and the same question of dialogue was placed to him, and the question was, he said, "With who are we going to dialogue to dialogue?" And then he said, "We don't dialogue with terrorists." And then today, the same dialogue is coming. But the most unfortunate thing is that the dialogue is not coming the right way it's supposed to come. Just like he said, before the President Biya's declaration, statement, as I can call it, we have made proposals. We have been in the field. We know what it takes to solve this problem. And we think that...
You stand up for Cameroon?
Of course. We think that President Biya not only stand up for Cameroon, even some other political parties, even the CRM political parties have made proposals, civil societies, etc. We think that if Mr. Biya was sincere to himself and to Cameroonians, he should have visited, he should have called these people out of pure humility and say, please, we need to come together and solve this problem. What can we do? Not putting himself on a position of alpha and omega. I have the solution. I. And then when we talk about national dialogue, the most annoying part of this, excuse me, Mr. Leonard, is when Mr. Biya talks as a god, and then Cameroonians dare go and dialogue with the Prime Minister. I am the supreme, the alpha and omega. Mr. Biya must sit on that dialogue table. If he doesn't sit on that, because we are talking of a sovereign dialogue, which means if we end up on that sovereign dialogue, that Mr. Biya stops being president, he will stop at that particular moment. We don't want a dialogue where Mr. Biya will be sitting up there. We have gone past that time, and we don't even trust him.
Certainly.
We don't trust him in anything. If he doesn't sit on that dialogue, I don't see us solving this problem. He must sit, and he's not sitting there to take the position of alpha and omega.
What if the dialogue actually holds, and then
it will not be dialogue.
Decisions are arrived at and effectively implemented?
They can never be implemented. No. Let's experience is the best teacher. Okay. What happened with the tripartite conference? What happened with the same constitution in 1961? Was it implemented?
He was the overlord.
No. We want a situation, and that is why we all stand up for Cameroon. We said there must be a mediator in this dialogue. The mediator will have 3 roles. The first role is to facilitate the dialogue, organize the dialogue. The third is to implement the resolutions. We don't want a situation where they will do the same thing again like the 1991. They will choose what doesn't suit them and reject what doesn't suit them. We talk about ministers declaring their assets before being appointed, but we know how ministers are the richest people in Cameroon. We heard Jean de Dieu Momo telling his Quata guys that before, when I was in the opposition, did I come here and give you money? But now I'm in the government, I can give you money. So you see, this is not the kind of Cameroon Anglophones want. We want the kind of Cameroon that our fathers left for us. And for that to happen, Mr. Biya must sit on that dialogue with all of us. He is a Cameroonian, except he wants to tell us that he's not a Cameroonian. And if he's not a Cameroonian, then he will stop being our president from the day we begin that dialogue. At the end of the dialogue, we will come with another president who will have the mission of gathering all Cameroonians and making us live together as a family.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. The dialogue just seems like a clarion call answered by the government with the intention of winning the war. If they intend to win the peace, then let's see sincerity, sacrifices, humility, and frankness, which comes with doing the most painful but courageous and true acts of justice and peace, which are releasing Ayuk Tabe and co., inviting the concerned to the dialogue table, declaring an immediate ceasefire, and knowing that discussions on the roots of this matter is a sign and guarantee for lasting peace. I rest my case. Sir Mario is writing from Yaoundé, Cameroon's political capital. The people who are to dialogue are in the prison. How will they be dialogue without them? For me, it is just a drama and not dialogue. I'm Kiwo God Heart in Yaoundé. Just want to appreciate Mr. Alex Ngepi for saying what some of us Anglophones see to be a taboo. Chu is writing from Limbe. Good day in the studio. My worries is not this national dialogue. My problem is after the dialogue. I pray what I'm foreseeing should not happen, because if this dialogue fails, this crisis may be worse than this. I'm Eugene, writing from Yaoundé. Dear panelists, if you beckon on the dog while holding a whip, it won't come. You can't be calling for dialogue while holding a gun. Even the government is scared of the dialogue she has called. This is Nta Kukuru, writing from Bafut. Cameroon is a scam. It hides its own history. We suffer because the government has decided to maintain their ideas which only favor a hand-picked individuals. Who is going for dialogue? Where are the perpetrators of this crisis? Let us revisit history before we can start thinking of solutions to revamp the problem Cameroon has. The president is okay. You see, I am Nestor Kedi in Ground Zero. Ground Zero is, should tell us where you're writing from. Baku Jude. Now, we have this problem at hand. People are being consulted in Yaoundé, but Stand Up for Cameroon has issued 6 points that, according to them, should be contained in the whole dialogue package. According to them, solving the problem should start with revisiting our colonial past.
The colonial past, I want to believe that goes, well, I want to think that is about the 1960 and 61, which I'm talking about. Except if we were to say that colonial, like to go back, because we've also heard people arguing, bringing forth the argument that Cameroon was one before the Germans came in the early...
When they came.
Yeah, when they came in. And then up to when the First World War took place in 1914, then before when Cameroon was handed to the League of Nations and all that. Well, that era, it's a colonial era, it's true. And we understand that within that era, we had not just Cameroon itself, we had part of Equatorial Guinea, part of Gabon even. Yes, we have British Northern Cameroon as well. That was part of this last triangle. But let me just point this and iron it once and for all for people who always want to bring this argument on the table. This is it. A country begins its livelihood after independence. That is when a country is defined by its territorial boundaries, its people, its identities, and all that has to do with what its sovereignty is all about. Now, if you were to take Cameroon back to a colonial past and to argue, I've heard some government ministers saying that it is the colonial masters that came and tore us apart, so we should come back as... Cameroon was never one, for God's sake. Cameroon was just a colony, a vast colony, where the partition of Africa came, when the European powers came into Africa, they had their interest. They just carved the thing the way they loved it to be. It's true, we were neighbors, but there were no particular boundaries that could say that this is actually, the name itself, Cameroon, where did it come from? It came from colonial past. And so after independence, that is when we start looking at the country. From 1960, Nigeria, you became independent. From 1961, Southern Cameroon, you gained independence. French Cameroon gained independence.
That independence was independence by joining.
That is the most stupid independence at all that I've ever heard in the history of the world.
There was independence by joining.
That's why I'm saying that the independence by joining is the most... let me say this. By the definition, get to a dictionary and check out what independence is. Independence is self... in fact, you're on your own. You cannot be on your own and contradict yourself by being with another. And that's why I'm saying that... By being under another. And that's why I'm saying that the independence of Southern Cameroons was a very fraudulent, and we know what happened. We know what happened with the politics that this guy, I lost the name, the guy who was in, the British High Commission was in Nigeria, the trick he played with the French colonial guys to seat Southern Cameroons under La République because they had interest in other parts of South Africa. And we know these things. So you cannot get independent by joining. You get independent by being yourself. Now, I cannot be a child in my father's house. You say I should go and get independent on my own. I go and get independent by going and joining my sister or my cousin. That's not independent. You get independent by being yourself. You're an independent person. So Southern Cameroons had their independence in 1961. Well, even if we're by joining, and we accept that they joined French Cameroon by gaining that independence, and British Northern Cameroon joined Nigeria. The terms of that joining, were they met? So the colonial past, which I think that Stand Up is talking about, it's going back to where these two entities came together. That is why I'm looking at it. The colonial past, where they were ruled by the colonial master under the League of Nations, and then now under the United Nations, came now to say that, okay, we are giving you people independent. You people are not still under our colonies. Go ahead and live your life. That is where I think that they are talking about the 1961. So that is the colonial past. And if you go back to this 1961, we have a constitution that was written in 1961. Mm-hmm. Take that constitution and you go through it. Where we have to upgrade, because truly our society has evolved. We cannot also deny that maybe there were some privileges that overfavored Anglophones on that constitution, because Cameroon is 80% Francophone, 20% Anglophone. Sure, if you think that we cannot maintain this figure, we can sit on the table, but on the basis, still on this basis, and negotiate a new deal. There's no harm. Instead of treating the people as if there are some slaves under you, if you want more compensation, reparations, we give you. We say, okay, we compensate you with it. After all, if we were to go by the federal system, I don't think that this would have even been a problem. Because everyone has to manage your resources, manage your personnel, and all that.
Even if the dialogue takes place, people, mostly Anglophones, won't leave their minds plainly, because the hall will be surrounded with the military and hence impact fear on the people. Same scenario during the Fumban conference. This so-called dialogue is just a masquerade. Bekario is writing from somewhere in Douala here. Walang Abang. Stand Up for Cameroon says there is need to redefine the form of the state and redefine key systems and institutions in Cameroon.
I want to begin by thanking my brother, opposite who is sitting just in front of me. He masters the history of Cameroon and that of Anglophone Cameroon especially. And I am very comforted in my position that somebody of French expression, can say with precision what happened, the ill that was caused to Anglophones. So that having been said, I think that the problem of Cameroon is because the so-called decentralization that was enshrined in the Constitution in 1996 has failed ab initio. From the very beginning, decentralization has failed. And trust me, the decentralization was enshrined in the Constitution not because the powers that be wanted to implement decentralization. It is because they had a lot of pressure from the political parties in those days who had the support of the people. And when this pressure, they could not bear it any longer, they said, okay, we accept, we'll make decentralization, we'll make this form of state a decentralized state, which they have not been able to implement today. And it gives, it gives a terrible bearing to the intentions of the powers that be. They do not want to work in the interest of Cameroonians, because people cannot ask for something that is in their benefit. And you, the leadership, who knows very well that it's going to benefit the people, for more than 22 years, you do not implement it, but you put it in the Constitution, and it is just hiding there. The form of state, yes, that is the problem of Cameroon, because Cameroon started as a Federal Republic of Cameroon in 1961. Now, let us forgive ourselves for the little, mistakes or for the little sins that we committed, to mask or to make the federalism some kind of a smoke screen. But that is what everybody knows. Let me say something. I am a federalist. I have advocated federation from the very beginning because I know that that's where we started, and I know that that's where we are going to, solve the problem. But I'm talking on a report that I watched Cardinal Tumi deliver on one of the sister channels to my Media Prime. He said that they made some kind of what do they call that in English? They did some kind of sampling of opinion of Anglophone Cameroonians, and 69% of Anglophone Cameroonians thought that they would be better off as a separate entity. Now that I am sure that the government of Cameroon has watched that video. I'm sure that they are aware of that statistics, and I'm sure that they know that that statistics cannot be wrong. It is very true. So how do we solve this problem? Do we continue to allow many innocent Cameroonians to die, okay, and even the separatist fighters and the military, because we want to mask our own mistakes that we have committed in our own personal benefits, for our own greeds? I think there is a very serious issue that has to be addressed by the Cameroonian people. I come now into the dialogue. The dialogue has excluded, on a very terrible scale, the Cameroonian people, because the voice of the common Cameroonian man is not in this dialogue.
How?
It is how it is. I mean, there are many people who have been invited, and I know that Association of Bayern Salams.
Are you saying that Cabral Libby will not air the views of many people?
I'm saying that
Serge Espoir Matomba
those are political leaders who do not. No, even if they are not representing Anglophones, you understand? I'm talking about Cameroonians, right? Those are political leaders who have political ideologies for specific political interest. So when they go there, it is first in the interest of their political ideologies and their political connections. Now, when I'm talking about the common Cameroonian is he who is there in the street, who is facing the brunt of the mistakes that we have committed in the past and that we are still committing now and that we are very arrogant about. Those are the people whose voices matter, because when it is time to go to the street, those are the people who go to the street and block the roads. And because of our arrogance, we'll send the military, the police, to go out there and shoot them, ignoring that we are the ones who caused those people to go to the street, but their voices are not heard. We have been talking about a 400-page document that Cardinal Tumi has taken to the Prime Minister, in preparation for the dialogue, and many other people. What about the common man? They said there is a website or an email address that they can write to. How many people are going to read that in 9 days? I'm sure in less than 9 days, the dialogue is going to begin.
Okay.
How many people are going to read that?
Hello, how can we be talking about dialogue and people are still dying in Northwest and Southwest? For once, let us be serious in the pit call country. Baba Noel. This one says, good afternoon, sir. I don't think the said dialogue is going to work because of lack of definition of terms. I mean inclusive and not totalitarianism. The PM has met only government officials who are less concerned and fail to talk to the real people. Let him wrap his pity and turn it to ambition. I'm writing from Yaoundé. Please, can you send us some of the names of the persons that you think should, so that we can also read them out here. Good day, people. I just want to say it's high time the presidential office becomes a rotatory for both Anglophones and Francophones, respectively. Wadaf is writing from Douala here. This one says, even if the dialogue takes place, people mostly... Okay, I have read that message already. The one says, it is like the president called for a family meeting. How can we be preparing for a national dialogue when those to dialogue are behind bars? I think it could have been better to call a ceasefire, release the political detainees before any going ahead. If not, I'm afraid it's going to be a drama. Shea Maxwell writing from Kumbo. Okay. This one says, good afternoon. I doubt if this is a dialogue or a national conference. All of the 10 regions representatives are part of this dialogue. Will they discuss issues concerning the North, East, etc.? This is just a trick. I'm John, writing from Yaoundé. Good day, panelists. The Cameroon has never been won. If I'm wrong, who was our president? What was our national language or our national headquarters? Eric is writing from Limbe. Good day in the studio. My worry is the absence of the President of the Republic and the leaders of the separatists. This care comes up because separatists, and how can solutions come up without terms? I'm Karu writing from Yaoundé. Please, some of the words you send are not clear, so I can't read them. I hope you don't feel hurt. Now, le mouvement Stand Up for Cameroun dit qu'il faut qu'on redéfinisse la forme de l'État, et puis il faut qu'on redéfinisse la relation des citoyens par rapport au gouvernement.
Oui.
That's to redefine the relationship between the citizen and the state, redefine the form of the state.
Oui, oui, ils ont raison. Ils ont raison parce que dans tout régime, la forme d'État est une question importante. Et les gens doivent savoir ce qu'on appelle par forme d'État. Je crois qu'il faut une culture de citoyenneté sur les questions juridiques, sur la forme de l'État. Oui. Parce que le Cameroun n'est pas... Qui peut donner la forme d'État Cameroun actuel? On dit, la Constitution dit que le Cameroun est un État unitaire décentralisé. Mais c'est faux. En fait, je pourrais dire que le Cameroun est un État unitaire déconcentré. Déconcentré. C'est-à-dire qu'il y a un pouvoir central représenté par le chef de l'État qui délègue ceux qui sont en bas, par exemple le gouverneur, les gouverneurs, les préfets, les sous-préfets, même les délégués du gouvernement, qui influencent dans les mairies. Donc il y a une déconcentration de l'État. La décentration n'est qu'un abus de langage. Après, en 1996, on a mis ce qu'on appelle la régionalisation. Non. En réalité, le Cameroun est un État hybride, c'est-à-dire qui est un mélange de tout et finalement de rien. C'est ça. Je voudrais revenir sur quelque chose. J'aime bien l'histoire et pour assurer mon panéliste sur quelque chose, c'est que le Cameroun, le drapeau allemand a été ici au Cameroun le 14 juillet 1884 par Nachtigal. Il revenait de Lomé. 1884. Et les rois Douala et Akwa ont cédé leur souveraineté aux maisons romanes. C'était le 12 juillet 1884. Et ces maisons-là ont cédé leur souveraineté à l'empereur allemand le 13 juillet. Donc le 14 juillet que le Cameroun a été annexé par l'Allemagne. Mais cette annexion-là, en 1902, les Allemands ont atteint le nord du Cameroun et le Cameroun mesurait 750 000 km. Parce que les Allemands ont fait la guerre aux Anglais du côté du Nigeria. Ils ont pris une partie du Nigeria. Ils ont fait la guerre aux Français, au Gabon, au sud, au Gabon, au Tchad et au Congo. Ils ont créé le Grand Cameroun en 1902. Mais seulement en 1914, quand la Première Guerre mondiale éclate, les Allemands demandent aux Français, aux Anglais, aux Français, que la Grande Guerre ne doit pas se faire dans les colonies. Mais ils ont refusé. Ils ont dit, voilà, la Grande Guerre dans les colonies. Et c'est comme ça donc que, je crois en avril, quelque chose de ce genre, les Anglais attaquent le port de Douala. C'est là la guerre est déclarée. Et 2 ans plus tard, c'est-à-dire en 1916, la guerre au niveau du Cameroun prend fin lorsqu'il y a un fort là, c'est le fort quoi, qui est pris par les Allemands, là, rendent les armes. Donc à ce moment-là, déjà, le Cameroun devient donc une colonie franco-anglaise. Donc vous comprenez que ceux qui pensent qu'on devrait peut-être revenir au Cameroun 1 de 1902 se trompent. Parce que cette colonisation a duré que 30 ans. 30 ans seulement. La culture allemande, donc la culture allemande, Germano n'a pas eu le temps de vraiment s'imprégner. Mais de 1916 à 1961, ou 1961, ça fait 45 ans ou 48 ans qu'on a eu la culture anglo-saxonne et la culture germano-romaine, donc la culture francophone. Donc, il faudrait qu'on comprenne. Et quand on revient en 2019, ça fait 100 ans qu'au Cameroun, qu'il y a ce biculturalisme linguistique, anglophone et francophone. On met nos cultures internes héritées de nos traditions. Donc, il est clair que si on doit faire un dialogue, on doit composer avec cette polyculturalité que nous avons au Cameroun. C'est-à-dire, les cultures néocolonialistes qui sont anglophones et francophones, et nos cultures internes. Et sortir de là avec un État avec un régime politique, avec une forme d'État propre au Cameroun, qui respecte nos diversités, qui respecte les deux peuples linguistiques et biculturels qui sont les peuples anglophones, les peuples francophones. Il faudrait que les gens arrêtent de faire la pirouette comme ils le font, parce qu'il y a aussi la manipulation occidentale, surtout francophone. En 1965, lorsque Amadou Ahidjo est reçu en France, De Gaulle lui dit, tant que vous allez continuer à apprendre l'anglais au Cameroun, aux Camerounais, alors le Cameroun ira vers la sécession. Voilà où tout est parti de l'esprit d'Amadou Ahidjo. C'est pour dire que la puissance coloniale française a tout fait pour assimiler les cultures anglophones vers les cultures francophones. Et la Grande-Bretagne a été complice parce qu'elle a laissé faire. Le système juridique camerounais est un système bijural. On fait de la bijuridiction au Cameroun. La common law et les lois germano-romaines. Seulement, même dans le système juridique camerounais, c'est les lois germano-romaines qui s'appliquent. Quand la crise commence à Bamenda, parce que c'est clair que les gens se rendent compte que les femmes qui sont là, une maman vient, on lui dit va chercher un interprète, parle en français, le juge est francophone, tout le monde est francophone. Mais comment allez-vous dans une zone où on doit parler purement anglais et vous mettre seulement à privilégier le français? Je suis francophone, certes, mais au moins, si je vais dans cette zone, je dois tout faire pour m'exprimer en pidgin, peu importe, pour me faire comprendre. Donc ce sont des erreurs qui ont été commises et qu'il faut rectifier. Et on ne doit pas les rectifier par des réponses sociales. Non, il faut aussi apporter des réponses politiques. Quand tout à l'heure, les gens qui disent que le politique a son rôle. Oui, le politique a son rôle. Pourquoi? Même si vous êtes la forme d'État aujourd'hui, sans le politique, en disant que ce n'est qu'un problème anglophone francophone, mais demain, les qui vont l'implémenter, ce sont les politiciens. Donc vous avez besoin des politiciens. Mais seulement, il faudrait mettre tout le monde sur la table. Il ne faudrait pas qu'on fasse que ce soit que les francophones. Je vais vous dire quelque chose.
Mais les francophones, ce sont des politiques.
Oui, je sais, mais il faut mettre. Vous savez, M. Bepo Sandavi qui dialoguait, là, All Anglophone Conference n'est pas né aujourd'hui. Il s'est devenu la All General Conference. Le document des 400 pages là, vous croyez que Tommy est parti le prendre partout? La All Anglophone Conference est née en 1993 à Bouéa. Oui. Et il y a eu la conférence 2 en Bamenda en 1994, où il y a eu les préalables. Je peux m'arrêter là, et après, je pense qu'on pourra parler de la conférence de la tripartite pour entrer réellement sur le sujet du dialogue national.
Merci beaucoup. Good afternoon. Those who are claiming Cameroon was won during the German colonial period have bad faith. German Cameroon included parts of Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Central African Republic, Chad, and Northern Cameroon, which is today part of Nigeria. If the government of Cameroon is claiming Southern Cameroon as its entirety, she should also go and claim those parts that are today under other countries. The dialogue has already failed. I see worse days ahead. God help us. Teacher Derek, writing from Bamenda, he says, I hail our French-speaking brother, Alex Ngepi, in the studio. He speaks things, but the truth. Thank you, brother. Alex Ngepi has received your salutations from Bamenda. Happy Sunday. I think there are many people out there who can take care of the Anglophone worries. For example, we have professors who had written a lot about Anglophone problem. They even know the problem more than some of the separatist leaders. The condition of detention leaders can be discussed during the dialogue. Greetings to my brother Walang. Muhammadu Maman, writing from Yaoundé. This dialogue is a waste of time because there are no international mediators. How can we Anglophones go into a dialogue when the end result is already set by the government of the country? We will not fall for that because the government would never accept any ideas favoring the Anglophones. Even if they accept our points, they will never implement them. We need... Okay, Raphael is writing from Greece. Good evening to you, or good day to you, Raphael. Good afternoon, please. Why the statement indivisible? Is there something they are hiding? If a child is mature and wants to settle down, what is wrong with that? When you write, tell us where you are writing from, please. Mantapa from Yaoundé say, bro, I prefer they should better create a WhatsApp group for this dialogue so that everyone should talk. Okay. Good afternoon, panelists. I'm very happy for the way my fathers are talking. Okay, their fathers have received your greetings, your salutations, and appreciation. This one says, no subject, nothing. You write, dear panelists, I think that you should let our French-speaking panelists retrace all the grievances of Southern Cameroonians. This is necessary for proper dialogue, okay? The government should give up mediation to a neutral body to save a federal Cameroon, at least holding on this dialogue defined by the government. They will be held responsible by history for promoting separation. Joe Hans, writing from Boya. Good afternoon. I think the national dialogue is simply another trick that the president wants to put on the English-speaking Cameroonians, because the dialogue cannot and never be sincere when our leaders are still in captivity in prison all over the country. Clinton from Fontaine, he says, stay tuned. Hello, good afternoon to the crew on board. I'm Prince Martin from Limbe. I wish to congratulate my French-speaking brother, Alex Ngepi, Mr. Cyril, okay, who is elaborating exactly the Anglophone problem. To me, there will be no dialogue because I'm sure it's another way to pick or arrest those who take part. Okay, this one says neutral ground who are. Please, when you write, give us your name and where you're writing from. Good day, people of Cameroon. I don't think this dialogue will be effective because the detainees are our brothers. Please let Mr. President release everyone involved in these political issues. Mba Dennis, writing from Mutengene. At Hall, cause of presence of the military, so I don't think the dialogue will make any sense. I'm Roland, writing from Mutengene. Let us come together as one. By so doing, there will be dialogue, because now there is no dialogue as long as those in the Northwest are still suffering. We are one and forever one. We all know that there are always problems, but there is always a situation, a means to sort out. We pray for peace. Happy Sunday. Bis Meratu, writing from Yaoundé. I think the national dialogue will fail because Bazoonia forces have taken the war for granted, which 90% of the people are not more interested in the dialogue. But the head of state has to do something with this. He has to move forward to Southern Cameroon and save the life of those that are alive. Teche Boris, writing from Bafoussam. May God bless Mr. Alex Ngepi. He is the trustworthy Francophone brother. The Cameroons have never won. Even the French-English versions of the supposed national anthem are different. Primus Ntakuru, okay, still writing from Bafut. This one says, hello, good afternoon. I'm Naomi from Limbe. For me, before they go on with the dialogue, they should first of all release those that have been jailed, because without those people involved in the dialogue will be of no importance. This one says the so-called dialogue organized by the head of state is just a waste of time. Ismail Mba, writing from Limbe. Nelson, writing from Kumbasi, let our leaders be released, then the dialogue. Okay. Wilson, writing from Bamenda, say, good day, who can take a better decision when the standing on hot coals? Can there really be sincere dialogue without peace or ceasefire? Secondly, the call for dialogue is specific. It should hold within the context of the Constitution, meaning the form of the state remains decentralized state, which is already a failure. Okay, Wilson, Amma Wilson from Bamenda. We are out of time, but you have to talk, Mr. Botem. You people of the stand-up of Cameroon say they should address the issue of return of humanitarian and political refugees.
Of course, it is. We know that the Anglophone crisis has created a lot of issues, a lot of scars on as far as the Anglophone regions of Cameroon is concerned. We have a lot of our brothers and sisters who are out of the country, not because they wanted to be. We have some who have abandoned their homes. in Nigeria, we have somewhere in other parts of Cameroon. We think that this dialogue on this dialogue table, if sincere and genuine, as we are putting these conditions together, must address that, because they have to go back. For example, we know that the military has erased more than 200 villages. All those villages must be constructed. It is true that Atanganji once said that they can burn all these villages and they will reconstruct them. At the end of the dialogue table, that should be looked upon. But our greatest desire is that if this dialogue takes place, we should end up with a political transition, because the Biya regime will not be capable of implementing the resolutions of the dialogue, and as a result, they should give way for a political transitional government that will have the mission of implementing the form of the state that will be decided and every other thing that will be decided. And I am totally in disaccord with the fact that the dialogue is going to be in the context of the present constitution. The constitution that exists now has to be reviewed, whether we like it or not, because that is the first grievances of the Anglophone. We need that the form of the state should be reorganized, should be looked. We need that the structures of the country. We need, in fact, there are a lot of things. We can't, if we are going there not to talk of the form of the state, then there won't be dialogue, and we'll still be where we are today. Because mind you, His Eminence Christian Cardinal Tumi said, majority of Anglophones are for secession. Do you hear that? Imagine, how are you going to bring those people to accept a unity state? That's the question.
That is the question. We are out of time. Let me take just 2 messages and then we are out of here. This one says, good afternoon, panelists. It's a well initiative, but if the dialogue fails to touch the 1961 Constitution, then it will be too early to start preparing for another session. I'm saying so because the root causes are sleeping in that Constitution. Fidelis, writing from Yaoundé, lots of messages from Yaoundé today. Greetings to all. You all there in the studio. The dialogue can only be successful if it's been done with the right persons, e.g. the Naira 10 should be granted amnesty to take part in the dialogue, or else it will end up in a failure. I'm Kumpas Derek, writing from Yaoundé. Good afternoon, all in the studio. For this dialogue to be successful, Biya must take us back to Fumban and release our leaders as well. Ashu Agbo, writing from Boya. And a brother of mine just said something clear, that this dialogue will be another way to track some people to join their brothers in prison. He is setting up a trap to his own citizens. I'm still Roland from Mutengene. And Makongo Nestor from Boya. Our president should release all prisoners concerned and before the so-called dialogue will hold. Okay, Makongo, we got you 5 on 5. We want to say, Bakuju, we are glad to be part of the show today.
Thank you very much, Leonard. Well, on my ending note, I just want to say that many people have benefited from this crisis. And the people who have benefited so far, like Minister Atanganji, and many of our Anglophone brothers who have benefited offices, big offices, let them do well to compensate the people by doing the right thing and doing it well. And we are praying, we are hoping that at least this time around, they'll stand for the truth. OK. Alex Ngekpi, vous avez quelque chose brièvement? Merci d'être venu aujourd'hui.
Oui, je voudrais juste dire que M. Biapolo dirait qu'il dialoguait. Je vais lui dire quelque chose. Hein, qu'il y a eu à la conférence en 1991, hein, après la tripartite, on devait nommer une commission qui devait être technique, qui devait être en charge de créer la constitution. Ils étaient 11, avec 4 anglophones. Donc il y avait, par exemple, Carlson Anyangwe, qui est un très grand avocat. Il y avait Sang Ekanda Elat, il y avait Albert Moukan, il y avait Simon Munzo. Ces personnes-là qui ont fait partie de cette commission, et après, ils ont été exilés. Ce sont ces personnes-là même qui avaient conduit la All Anglophone Conference de Buea et de Bamenda. Et je voudrais juste pour chuter, pour dire que dans la conférence de Bamenda, ce qu'on n'a pas dit aux Camerounais, c'est qu'il y avait des organisations qui étaient là, notamment la Cameroun Anglophone Movement, il y avait la West Cameroun Movement, il y avait les Ambassadors Movement qui étaient socialistes, et il y avait aussi la Manfred Youth. Pour dire quoi? Que les anglophones avaient remis, à part de Bamenda, un mémorandum où ils ont dit à l'État du Cameroun, nous voulons le fédéralisme. S'il n'y a pas le fédéralisme, nous allons proclamer l'indépendance de notre région. Et ils ont fait des pressions à l'ONU pour cela. Donc quand le monsieur Biapol qui est au pouvoir, qui est là aux affaires depuis 62, il est haut fonctionnaire camerounais, il connaît le problème des anglophones, il serait grand temps qu'il prenne à cœur ces problèmes-là et qu'il laisse au Cameroun, parce que son futur est derrière lui. Non, son futur derrière lui. Il faudrait, M. Biapol, arrête de faire la politique politicienne et qu'il résolve ce problème qui sépare et qui divise les Camerounais maintenant.
Alex, merci. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thanks, Mr. Bean, for having me here. Thanks to the millions of televiewers out there watching this program. I hope that, after this program, the direction towards solving this problem will be identified and the problem will be solved.
Okay. Agbotem, thank you for coming.
It's always a pleasure, Leonard, being here. I hope that Mr. Dion Gute has the opportunity to make history, irrespective of the poor design of the head of state. He is the man, after consultation now, that can turn things around and compensate Cameroonians, because he is one of those who are benefiting from the pains and sufferings of the Anglophones.
Okay, we want to thank you all who took time off to follow the program today, especially you who sent text messages. We want to thank the production team, Desmond, and to you, Frank. It's a Sunday. You guys are not resting. You are here to make this program live so that people can follow and get educated. We want to thank you, Eli. We want to thank Corinne, who should be up there. All the Desmonds, we thank you all. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.